I'm a huge fan of under-the-radar humour, subtle humour that not everybody gets. It makes me feel special, makes me feel part of a kind of special group. I feel like almost like you're better than other people when you figure out that you've spotted something that nobody else has. And I think this is really useful type of humour to use in marketing and advertising. Got a really good example of it. I've started watching The American Office, and there's some really funny moments in it, but the only bit that really made me laugh out loud was a completely under the radar piece that just made me really smile because I appreciated it. So just to set this up, this is about the basketball game. I think it's in Series 1. So the manager Michael is going, there's the humour about picking the teams, and there's a lot of stereotypical stuff there about Michael picking people that he thinks are naturally going to be gifted athletes. So he picks the young ones, the active ones. I think he even picks Stanley because he's black, just because he presumes that because he's black he'll be better at basketball. I think he even says Stanley, naturally. So there's a lot of humour around that, and in the game there's a lot of humour. But the bit that I really loved, the only bit I really laughed out loud at, was at the end. This kind of B-roll footage that, like the B-roll footage where they just shoot footage at the end in documentaries just to kind of set the scene. There's a scene with Kevin. Now, Kevin, without being unkind, is the kind of person that you wouldn't think of as being a natural athlete. Is probably a nice way of putting it. They shoot some footage of him. Now, in the TV show, it's only about 10 or 15 seconds. And I found the clip on YouTube, and it's 31 seconds. It's a bit longer, but it just highlights the point brilliantly. So they've had this game. Whoever's won has won. There's been jokes throughout, and then they just casually play this footage of Kevin, who was turned down to be in the team because obviously he didn't look like a natural athlete. So they just play this. Swish. Swish. Four swishes. Six. And we'll give him that as a seventh. So for me, that's just a really great example of under the radar humour. Just this thing that this shot of something at the end that isn't referenced. It's not like somebody comes in and goes, "Where the hell were you during the game? We could have done with you." Or nobody makes a reference to it. The two lads stood either side, the better basketball players, are just stood there. Yeah, it's fine. Passing the ball. No reaction. It's that kind of subtlety, that kind of under the radar stuff that really works. And I think this is really useful in like advertising and writing and business. If you're a photographer and you've got loads of pictures on your website, you could do something where you could, for example, if your ideal client was the kind of person that would span out and view them all as a collective mosaic, you could have one of those mosaic pictures that says something. Or if your kind of client was the kind of person that zoomed in really close to every pixel to find out how your photos looked, you could have smiley faces in trees, or "I knew you'd look here, Mr. Johnson," on certain photos. You could make it almost like a treasure hunt. You create stuff that only certain people will appreciate. And if you're a writer, you can do that. You can make every first letter of your sentences spell out a word. And there's lots of things you could do. Just this kind of under the radar things that not everybody will appreciate. And it's about a kind of casual attitude. Now, in Magic, we do this as well. And this got me a chance to do this. So I was thinking, in Magic, there's moments when you can kind of just create stuff and vanish and do it as a kind of moment of theatre. But often, this might not work because the frame rate of the video isn't too good, but I will show you it anyway. If I'm chatting to somebody sees me at an event and maybe I'm packing up and I've got a pen, I'm just putting it away. If somebody's chatting to me about an event and talking to me about what I can do for their big day, I will often do something casually, absent-mindedly, as if this is just part of my everyday existence. So I might just reproduce and vanish the pen over and over without calling any reference to it while engaging in conversation. So if I'm talking to somebody and I'm holding a pen, might as well roll my sleeves up. I'm not sure this will capture on the video, but I can be like, oh yeah, Mr. Johnson, so you're getting married on Thursday the 17th of November? Oh, Liso Castle, that's a lovely place to go. Yeah, honestly, I think I did a wedding back there in 2017. Really good. The staff are tremendous as well. Are you using the garden for the photos? Perfect. It's a great bridge there. And if you do it on the east side of the bridge in the afternoon, you get some great photos because of the wedding and the sunlight and the way everything goes down and you just vanish. And I just do it casually. And I think there's a great scope for looking for this. Not every joke has to be a very clearly defined setup, premise, punchline. So I think this clip is just a really good example of that. Kevin, the basketball, just swishes 6 or 7 baskets in a row. Nobody calls attention to it. And it's the kind of thing that when you watch again, you'll go, oh yeah, what the, oh yeah. So this is a really good example of something you can use in your own. So when you're writing a blog or creating advertising, think about the fact that people are going to see your work over and over again. What kind of depth, what kind of levels can you put into your writing so that when they read it again, they'll pick up something else? Because this is the kind of stuff. The first time you watch it, you're involved in the story. That's what you're focusing on. Second time you're watching it, you're a bit more au fait with everything. You know how it's going to go. So you're looking out for little things like facial expressions. You're looking out for things in the background. This is when you notice continuity errors. So what can you put into your work that is just subtle, that not everybody will notice, but when they do, they'll go, oh my God, that's awesome. Oh my God, that's awesome. I'm part of the special group. I spotted that. You are the one for me. So yes, that's just a really good example of under the radar humour, subtlety, rather than ramming it into their face. Hopefully we'll do more jokes like this. If you've got any others that you specifically want me to have a look at, mention them, comment on them, put an advert in the local Exchange and Mart, anything like that. I'll get to them shortly. But I hope you found it useful, and I'll see you on the next video.